He is trying to suggest that this was a real attack, that he didn't give them money to hurt him. He gave them money to, I don't know, get food, whatever it was, but for legitimate purposes. And now when the two brothers who testified against him and said it was 100% a hoax, we ran through it, we did a rehearsal. One of them was asked by Jussie's lawyer something like, when did you first know you were gay? Or when did you first feel attracted to Jussie? And the brother was like, because it's two brothers who were in on it. The one guy said, I'm not gay. I don't know what you're talking about. So when Jussie's on the stand, Jussie is saying he had this relationship. The guy's name is Bola Asundario. He had a relationship with Bola. It was sexual, that they had gone to like a bathhouse, a gay bathhouse together. They had a private room. They fooled around. They did drugs. If that's true, then Bola did lie on the stand, which would definitely undermine his testimony. The other side is denying it, but I do think it's kind of interesting that we're still watching this and that there are still some in the media and Jussie himself who claim this whole thing was real. And if you question it, see the point that's always made, you're all racists.
Well, this guy, I said maybe I need to recant a statement. I said Colin Kaepernick is the dumbest person. I think Jussie Smollett has moved in the first place as the dumbest person on planet Earth. I mean, you literally have receipts of payment. You have video of them going and doing what you had asked them to do. There's video of a rehearsal before the fact. And then I think he wants people to forget that he said it was two white people that beat him up, and there was two black people that beat him up on camera that he set up. And I don't understand for the life of me why he chose the dumbest scenario ever created. You're a black man in Chicago, which is heavily Democrat, in the middle of the night, negative 20-degree weather, and some white dudes are going to randomly beat you up with MAGA hats on, saying it's MAGA country, and put a noose around your neck. And then you go home and you still have the little string noose around your neck. Like, who would make something up like this other than a narcissist, a person who deserves to go to prison? I mean, this guy is shameful, to be honest. I mean, all jokes aside, this is shameful. Unfortunately, this happens more often than people imagine because racism is such a dying sport in America. People have to recreate it in order for them to validate, who they've created, themselves to be.
Couple of points on it too. And under this elaborate tale, the two men who just happen to run into you, the star of Empire, Jussie Smollett, just happen to have a noose on them and a can of bleach, which they dump over you, and they recognize you, even though, let's face it, Jussie Smollett wasn't that big a star. So yeah, and the prosecutor showed, he had testimony from one of the brothers saying, I barely got the rope around him, like it happened also so fast, I kind of just had to throw it toward him. And then they show pictures of Jussie walking into his house. It's perfectly around his neck and it's tightened all the way up. And the implication was very clear. He put it there, he tightened it, he wanted to make it look as bad as possible. And by the way, one of the interesting things is the only avenue against these two brothers who testified that Jussie had, that he was using and his lawyer was using early on, was they're homophobic. They were against Jussie because he also happens to be gay. So it was a hate attack, Okay, they're black, so maybe it wasn't the black thing, but he's gay. So it was the gay thing. And then the defense is the one who's saying, actually, they were gay too. So it's like, what? This is the worst lawyering I've ever seen. This is as stupid as they come, client and lawyers. I don't know where it's going to go, but what we've been seeing, Brandon, is the same media that propped him up. GMA did a full half-an-hour interview with him, Robin Roberts, the whole bit. They've said bub kiss. I think Media Research Center did the numbers. It was like 22 seconds of coverage on ABC. NBC was like 178 seconds of coverage. CBS, 0. They're not so interested in covering the trial of the guy who allegedly made this up as they were about the guy when he was allegedly making it up.
Yeah, this is egregious, though. I mean, we expect our media to be fair and balanced and just tell the truth. I mean, you don't have to have a dog in the fight. Just report the doggone news. You reported the news that he was lying, of him lying. And then when he it's found out, you don't report anything. That to me is biased journalism. And that is the problem that I see us facing in America today, is that people are biased. They pick a side. I mean, Stevie Wonder can see that this was not a real story from the beginning, even in his interviews. And maybe because I'm a former police officer and I've interviewed a lot of people, and everybody lie to you every day almost, that you could tell he's lying. You could tell by the way he's looking down and looking around, and the consistency of his story and the way his story flows on camera is indicative of a person who's being disingenuous and is creating these realities that didn't ever happen.
All right,
There's a difference between a person imagining something and repeating it than a person who actually lived a scenario and then having to express himself afterwards. But so the media should be ashamed of themselves.
We can show that to you because we've actually pulled a minute soundbite from that interview he gave on GMA. Watch Jussie Smollett in all his glory.
As I was crossing the intersection, I heard Empire. And I don't answer to Empire. My name ain't Empire. And I didn't answer. I kept walking, and then I heard Empire. So I turned around and I said, did you just say to me? And I see the attacker masked. And he said, this MAGA country punches me right in the face. So I punched his ass back. And then we started tussling. You know, it was very icy. And we ended up tussling by the stairs. Fighting. There was a second person involved who was kicking me in my back. And then it just stopped. And I looked down and I see that there's a rope around my neck, which I hadn't.
You hadn't noticed it before?
No,
you didn't
because it was so fast. You know what I'm saying? It was so fast.
Brandon, it was so fast. You didn't notice they put a noose around him.
Yeah, they got NASCAR speed throwing a noose around him. It's. I mean, like I said, when you listen to him, and if you have spent any time interviewing people or talking to individuals, and you hear people's genuine testimony of traumatic events that they've gone through, there's a lot more detail in some of these. You know, a guy yelled at me, and then he just punches me in the face. And then I'm on the ground, and then somebody else jumps in, and I'm getting kicked in the back, and then there's a noose around my neck. Like, if that really happened to a person, they're going to have a lot more intricate details about the feeling that they had, about different things that they observed from the assailants. You know, you would think that he would get emotional to some degree if a person is beating you. I guess they weren't trying to kill you, but they were beating you and putting a noose around your neck. But I mean, this just speaks to the idiocy of these people who have gone far left in this lunacy world, that they have to create things like this. And this is the sad part, Megyn, because I see this same character in a lot of people. The tennis player Serena Williams had this character. Lance Armstrong had the character. Jussie Smollett has the same character. People who are narcissistic enough to lie to your face and then try to hurt other people who disagree with the lie until they get completely found out. Serena did it when she was at the match, and she had got caught cheating, and she tells the gentleman that was in charge that he's sexist. She has children, and trying to hurt somebody and be evil to another person, knowing that you are in the wrong. And that type of person, to me, is I would say the individual that I dislike the most is somebody who can't be honest, and people who lie and hurt others just to cover up their own lies.